Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Monday, the 18th of November. Well, disappointing day at Cheltenham. It was garbage, to be fair, and at Fontwell. So the first race was an embarrassment. The horse, it couldn't even go around the bends. You always take that risk when you're backing a horse that's never been over hurdles, but it had been round at least been round the track before and not done that. But no, so that was a bit farcical, to be fair. Um, So then we had a placed horse at Fontwell in the Southern Grand National. Was going okay, outpaced, stayed on again towards the finish. Never looked like winning really from what was it, about 3 or 4 out. Um, the other horse ran okay behind. Well, then unfortunately they're now ill-fated. Yeah, what was it something Buffalo? Yeah, so I don't know quite what's going off there. I'm seeing I'll be honest. In the past, and I'm not being cold-hearted. In the past, it didn't really affect me quite so much as what it does now. You know, I don't know if it's because I hadn't got pets then, but now I have. But when you see them break down, you're thinking, "Crikey, that's somebody's pet." Well, it is somebody's pet, but I know not all owners see them as that. But I know the smaller owners definitely see them as something like that. Um, Buffalo Soldier, that was it. And then there was another one. Bangers and Cash, I think it was called. That one seemed to come down on the bend. Yeah, I just think it's horrific now. The one that broke down the other day, um, there was one at Cheltenham that it looked gone as soon as that was it Ned Tandy or something like that. And then there was, unfortunately, I'll tell you the gutting thing I found the other day was it was, I think it was at Wolverhampton. It was a 2 year old race. It was a horse making its debut as a 2 year old. I think that's a bit more heartbreaking than anything else. Obviously, you've got the owners. Obviously, it'll be the apple of their eye. First time, just understanding what to do as a 2 year old. And unfortunately, it came down on the bend. I don't know if it actually got up. I hope it did, but I don't think it did. But yeah, so a bit gutting, to be fair. So let me get into Monday's selections. So um, I'll briefly talk you through them. So I haven't placed a bet yet, and I'll be taking all the SPs. I'll be leaving the prices, even though I'm tempted to take two of them. And the two I wanted to take was the first selection and the last selection. So basically, what I'll do is um, I want to have it's my free bet. It's a £7.50 free bet. So I'll have two of the free bets each way and turn them into a lucky 15. And then I shall do the other one as an each way accumulator because they're not huge prices. And realistically, a bit of luck, they've all got chances to be fair. So let me get into it. So the first selection, so these are down the right hand side, just here, look. So the first selection is Aberama Gold. I've left the price in the 6:30 Wolverhampton, paying four places instead of three. I think this one's drawn about six. So this horse is ridiculously well handicapped on the all weather. It's now becoming well handicapped anyway, but I believe the last time it was kind of in form and running regular on the all weather, I think it was rated 100. It's now rated something like 80, the very low 80s. So Aberama Gold has had a pretty busy campaign. Quite often it started as a fancied horse in these big races. It just seems to have flattened out a bit. It seems to travel really well. Well, there's quite a lot of pace in this race. So I'd like to, I think there's at least two horses with first time headgear, I do believe. So I think there could be quite a lot of pace in the race. And hopefully, let's say there's four or five forcing the pace. I want it to sit just behind it, like right behind the pace, because this horse does travel really well. He doesn't always find that much, so I'm just hoping when the wheels come off the front runners, it's still there travelling well. But obviously, I'm hoping that it doesn't find trouble. So Aberama Gold. What I am also hoping is what I do suggest is put this horse in your tracker because it's that well handicapped. If it's not technically trying or well, yeah, the word's trying in the Wolverhampton race tomorrow, I do believe they could be lining it up for another decent race. Um, I wouldn't have picked it if it was a 5 furlong race, and I would have put it in a tracker if it was a 5 furlong race. But because it's a 6 furlong race, it gives me the impression that they're after maybe even winning this race and using it as a stepping stone to get into a better race with what could be a well handicapped all weather horse. So that's a first selection. I may be completely wrong. It'll probably fall out lose 5 lengths at start, never involved. Hopefully it's not though. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Sorry. So the next selection is Alafdal at the 7 o'clock at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. So this horse wasn't too far off a lightning pace at Chelmsford 2 runs ago. It ran okay, I think, last time, but it's too well handicapped and it's running well. The Racing Post did say something like it's only been beaten something like a length and a half in its last 5 runs, something like that. But it's a horse that's running well, and I think that stands for a lot because it's a poor race. I was tempted to take the price with this, but again, I can't see 5-1 holding up. But I don't want to get stung like I did. Was it last Monday? With it drifting, I'm now in like catch 22 mode because it's like I don't know whether when I shouldn't be taking the prices. So yeah, the first two could easily shorten. Yeah. So the third selection, and this is one that could definitely drift. There's no way I could take 5-1 about this horse. So the third horse is Farahi. So no, it isn't. It's Farihar. Farah. I can't say it, can I? Fariha. Fariha. Roughly about 5-1, but I've left the price in the 5.15 at Southwell, paying 4 places instead of 3. This is a horse that I won't say it's been messed around with, but it's had different headgear. It had no headgear at all last time and really disappointed, although it looked to have turned the corner slightly when it had hood. So they took the hood off, and like I said, the last run it did was disappointing. So now they've chucked first time blinkers on. So I'm hoping that is the kick up the backside that it needs. It's probably the riskiest one of the bet. This one is, to be fair. So yeah, it's William Haggis trained, powerful owners, and I'll be honest, I can't remember exactly who's on it. It might be Ross or Ryan. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter. We've got a jockey on board anyway. The final selection is the Nap. So it's a risky Nap, and I shall tell you why. It's the favourite for a start, but I've left the price. So it's Reputation at 9-2, but I've left the price. In the 5.45 at Southwell, paying 4 places instead of 3. Well, before you say anything, I know it's 11-year-old, but I did tip this up a bit back, and one of the commenters, which I appreciate people commenting before the race, one of the people in the comments said something like an 11-year-old drawn 10, no chance, which that's fine. Songs people say that before the race, that's fine. So this horse, it's got an okay draw. My doubt is, even though it's ran at Southwell in the past in slightly better grade, is whether it picks up quite so well on this course. So Reputation normally travels really well. Sometimes it's a little bit keen, and I'm hoping it's not too much in behind horses because there's quite a lot of kickback. I know the surface has changed from when it was fibre sand, but there can still be quite a fair amount of kickback. So I'm hoping this horse still picks up. It's a relatively long straight, so there's no excuse for finding trouble because normally at Wolverhampton this horse is buried away mid pike and it's having to make ground up off the final bend. Well, you've got Southwell, which it gives them plenty of time to stretch out. You can see I quite enjoy the camera angle because no end of times I've seen where our horses have been travelling well as they go around the bend. And yeah, I do think this horse has got a decent chance. It's got to really because obviously it's the favourite, but hopefully it should travel well. James Sullivan on board, and I actually looked at this race. What I did, I started with Reputation, thought, oh, it's got a good chance, and I worked my way down trying to get it beat, and I couldn't find one to get it beat. I did look at one. I'm trying to think what the horse is called now. I might be slightly wrong with the name. I think it's Available Angel, but I'm hoping that sets the pace, which it should do, and hopefully it sets a good pace. Hopefully the pace falls apart, and this one, if this horse transfers its form, I believe from Wolverhampton and Chelmsford, it's got every chance at Southwell. So I like the look of Reputation. It's the nap, but it's not like a 5-star nap. Not as though I normally give my horses the star ratings, but if you could tell me, or if you can tell me that this, yes, Charlie, this horse ran its race, or will run its race, or if connections could say, yes, Charlie, it likes Southwell just as much. It's just that it's not had the rub of the green. Then it's the nap, and a nice looking nap. And if you if you back this horse each way, you're pretty much getting your money back if you back it single anyway each way, because they're paying first four, and it's a poor race. So anyway, those are the four selections for Monday. So I'm fully expecting probably to give some more selections out midweek. I should be keeping it really small stakes. These stakes I stake on a regular basis during the week. Although I'm not choosing the selections as throwaway bets. It needs to be a fiver or £3 that you're prepared to lose, because I'm not trying for them to lose. All I'm saying is, whatever stake you do, it needs to be something that doesn't affect you. As in, like, even if you put in 5 pence each way, look, 15s on, that comes to £1.50. Do that, because I just feel the real blast is probably normally on a Saturday when there's a lot more to go at. I think the racing at the moment is absolutely dreadful midweek. Hopefully we get a few angles when we start seeing a bit of all weather. Because what I'm tend to see at the moment is you're seeing a lot of horses that have been running on the turf, and getting really good handicap marks for the all weather, because they're not turf horses, they're sand horses. So hopefully I can keep my eye on that. So yeah, so I will be getting involved with the all weather during the winter, because I do actually like it. But I think there's so many good angles where you can not so much the bookmakers, but sometimes the bookmakers they'll overlook a horse because it's completely out of form, purely because it's been running on the turf for the back end of the flat season, the turf flat season. But it's then extremely well handicapped, and you can get some very tasty prices. So, enough waffling now. So, if you give me a like, I'd really appreciate it. So, I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.